This lesson is on factoring trinomial. I have ax squared plus bx plus c. So this is a trinomial because it's 1, 2, 3 terms. And in this situation, a will be 1. We're going to factor trinomial when a is a1. And a is always in the front. So here I have an example. N squared minus 9n plus 8. Make sure label A, label B, label C. A is the first term. Since there's no number, it is always a 1. Next, the B term, which is negative 9. Next, the C term, which is 8. So A, which is 1, B, which is negative 9, and C, which is positive 8. After that, do the big X, draw a big X. On top it is A times C, so 1 times 8. On top, always A times C, so 1 times 8 is 8. In the bottom right here, it is always B, which is negative 9. One more time, the top is always A times C, the bottom, which is B. So in this case, A times C, which is 1 times 8, which is 8. B here is negative 9. Next, we need to find the factor of AC. So A times C, so in our case, 1 times 8 is 8. So we need to find the factor of 8. And there's only 2, which is 1 times 8 is 8. 2 times 4, which is 8. So list out your factors of whatever A times C is. Okay, one more time. List out the factors, whatever A times C is. Okay, so in this situation, A times C is 8. So list the factor of 8, which is 1 times 8, 2 times 4, which gives me 8. Okay, next, we need to find out which one of these combination will give me 8 and negative 9. So in this case, we can only use 1 and 8. The reason why I'm using 1 and 8, because 1 times 8 will give me 8. 8 plus 1 will give me 9. Okay. However, there is a negative here. So now we have to include the negative. So both of these must be negative. Why? Because negative 1 times negative 8 will give me positive 8. Negative 1 plus negative 8 will give me negative 9. So be very careful when to use the negative and when to use positive. Okay, so one more time, we have two lists. We have two combination in the list of factor of 8. Again, we have two combination in this list to give me 8, but only 1 and 8 will work because 1 times 8 gives me 8. 1 plus 8 gives me 9. However, we have a minus here, so we have to include a negative. So put a negative here on the 1, also in the 8. Why? Because negative 1 times negative 8 gives me positive 8. Negative 1 plus negative 8 gives me negative 9. Okay, so on the top, you will multiply. In the bottom, you will add. One more time, the top, you will multiply. The bottom, you will add. So negative 1 times negative 8 gives me positive 8. Negative 1 plus negative 8 gives me negative 9. Okay? And since A is 1, you are done with this procedure. One more time, since A is 1, we are done with this procedure. Now write your answer in 2 sets of parentheses, and the reason why we have 2 sets of parentheses because this is a square. Okay, this is a square, so that means 2, so you must have 2 sets of parentheses. Here we have a letter N, so each set get a letter N. Each parentheses get a letter N, and then after that, put the negative 1 in for the first parentheses and negative 8 for the second parentheses. Okay, one more time. When A is 1, this process is completely done. Now write your answer in 2 sets of parentheses. Since we have letter N, each parentheses get a letter N, and then put the -1 in the first set and then -8 in the second set. And this is the final answer to n squared minus 9n plus 8. Okay. Next example, same procedure. So, but this time I'm using 2 letters, letter N and then the letter M, but same procedure. So A here is the first term, which is 1, B, which is 2, C, which is -8. One more time. A is 1, B is 2, C is -8. After that, do the X, so draw your X, the big letter X, okay? Top will be A times C, B, which is 2. One more time, top is always A times C, B is always 2, okay? So AC on top, B is in the bottom. Now we need the factor of 8, okay? Because A times C, so 1 times -8 gives me 8, -8. 1 times -8, which is -8. Okay. Now find the factor of 8. For now, ignore the negative. We just need the factor of 8. Okay. So the factor of 8 is 1 and 8, 2 and 4. These are the 2 combinations. However, we need a -8 on top and we need a +2 on the bottom. So the only combination that will work will be 2 and 4. So put the 2 and put the 4. Again, why did we choose 2 and 4? Because this is the only combination that will give me 8 and a 2. Okay. Next, because I have a negative on top and also this is positive, so we have to be careful which one of these has a negative and which one a positive. So the only way that this works is 2 will be a negative, 4 would be a positive. And the reason is this: -2 times +4 gives me -8. 4 subtract 2 gives me a +2. Because this is B is positive, so therefore 4 has to be positive and a negative on the 2, because the bigger number has to take the sign. Okay, the bigger number takes a sign. So 4 subtract 2 gives me +2. Okay, now once this procedure is done, and also since A is 1, this procedure is done. Now write your 2 parentheses. Each parentheses have a letter. So here I have N and M. Why? Because in the beginning I have N and the letter M. So N goes here, M goes here. Bring down the -2. Do the same thing with the next parentheses. N goes here, M goes here. Bring down the +4. Okay, so be very careful when we are factoring trinomial. Okay, so one more time, I have 2 letters. N goes here, M goes here. Bring down the -2. The second parenthesis, do the same. N here, M here. Bring down the +4. Okay, so be very careful in the trinomial when A is 1.